Hi, my name is Nikita Frazier, and I'm a mom trying to blend my two families while also focusing on my hobbies, my health, and well being. A mom that loves to travel, and I'm currently looking into relocating my family to another country. If this sounds like something that you'd be interested in following, please like and subscribe to our channel. Hello, tonight we're going to be talking about my issue with the hustle mentality. Whenever you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and you're feeling despair and uh, utter just like sadness, and you start crying and crying and crying, and you don't know why, I think that's a sign that you may need to take a look at what you're doing and what's causing you that stress. That was me the other day, a couple of days ago, on Friday morning. I woke up just crying, just sobbing, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. I just felt so sad and overwhelmed just by everything that's going on. Just to give you a little bit of backstory. Um, for the past 8 months, I've been planning my wedding to my fiance. It went from being a simple, hey, let's just get married on the beach with our pastor during our annual church picnic to a full scale beach ceremony wedding at a venue that is basically $120 a plate. Uh, Photographer, videographer, event planner, flowers, everything. Um, and I'm a very quiet person. I don't like to be the center of attention. So then I was like, well, in order for me to not feel awkward during my ceremony and reception, maybe we'll make it a theme party because I love a good theme party. So then it went from beach, small ceremony, wedding to a themed wedding where all of our guests are getting dressed up in Victorian steampunk attire. My gown is all this goth with red and black and just, very extra, very fun. But at the same time, when you're having something that's a little bit different, a little unique, you're not going to find things that you need at the local Hobby Lobby or, Joann Fabrics or something like that. So finding things for my wedding was very challenging in of itself. Um, and on top of, you know, planning the wedding, I also have my daughter who's 7, who is in soccer. So she started soccer in the spring, taking it again in the fall. My fiance is coaching both times. In the spring, I was able to kind of assist coach and be like the soccer mom, helping out the kids and organizing everything. Now in the fall, my son is playing football. So not only do we have my daughter playing soccer, my son playing football, we have to kind of split our time between the two kids. Um, so that's been a challenge. And I also just signed her up for gymnastics. So we're kind of splitting ourselves in 3 at this point. And I have a full-time job that I actually do love what I do. It's just a lot of the nuances of it, communication, um, organization, just the standard problems you have at pretty much every job. Um, and then starting a new business. I'm doing my travel agency thing that I just started maybe a couple months ago. And that came about with planning my honeymoon. We decided to go on our honeymoon before the wedding because it just was more convenient having 2 kids that were in school. Going away in October just wasn't practical for 2 weeks. So we decided to do that in June. And as we were planning it, I was like, you know what? I really enjoy traveling. I enjoy, researching. As part of what I do as an analyst. And, I thought it would be a great thing to start that travel agency and make myself my first client. And I did that and had a great experience doing it. But once you start a business, there's a lot of other things that go into being a successful business owner, not just booking your own travel, but also um, making it so that way people can know and trust you and feel confident having you book their travel as well, which brings me into um, joining a networking uh, program called BNI, Business Networking International. So that basically entails an hour a week Zoom and having one-on-one meetings with people and a lot of networking, which again, me being the quiet, shy person that I am, um, is a challenge and can be emotionally draining. And so there's that. And then because we're planning on going and moving abroad, there's a lot of logistics that goes into that. The first phase was going to the country during our honeymoon, Portugal, and seeing if we even liked it before we would make that second step of actually moving. So we did that and we loved it. And now we're like, okay, after the wedding, that's what we're going to focus on. But in order to do that, I want to take our kids there in the spring and we need to get their passports. And when we get their passports, they need to get permission from their father. And he's kind of hasn't been around or able to contact very easily. So now there's a whole court process to go through in order to be able to take the kids out of the country. So there's that whole exhausting process of dealing with the government and courts and filling out paperwork and all those things. And I also decided to join a steering committee for a new nonprofit that's starting up in my city. I've known this woman who's starting the nonprofit for probably a good maybe 10 years now, and I've worked with her at her school, my kids' school, just doing volunteer work, and it's something that I really think is necessary, needed in this community. And I really would love to be able to contribute any way I can. But as you can see, I'm already, this deep in a whole bunch of things that I'm already doing. So I think just the culmination of all these things kind of created the perfect storm of me waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sobbing and crying because I'm just so totally overwhelmed and don't know what to do. So because of all these things that I signed up for and want to do and look forward to doing, it causes a sense for me, being the type A perfectionist that I am, to feel like I'm not succeeding at anything. I've always had this all or nothing personality where it's like, either if I can't do it exactly the way I want to do it, then I don't do it at all. And it's been a hindrance to me in being able to succeed in a lot of areas because I hold myself back. Like, I've been wanting to do these videos for years now, but because I didn't have the right way or this or that, I just was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I feel like if I can't go be at all my daughter's soccer, practices or games, that I'm failing. Or if I'm not at my son's 2-hour practices for football, that I'm failing. Or because I don't know the exact ins and outs of everything that my department does from beginning to the end, because I'm a big picture person. I need to see the big picture and then zoom in on every little piece of the puzzle. And if I can't do that after being in that department for a year, I feel like I'm failing, even though I'm getting constant praise and accolades from other departments saying how great my products are. I feel like I'm failing. Sitting in the bed crying for an hour, not knowing what I'm going to do. Finally, when Mark's alarm goes off at 6:30, he looks at me. He's like, "What's wrong?" And I tell him what's going on, and he's just gives me all the support and love and encouragement, saying that I'm a great mom and a great hard worker, and that I'm not failing, and that everything's going to be okay. It's all going to work itself out. And it felt good, and I really love his encouragement, and you know, appreciate all that he does to try to help me and release that burden that I'm holding on to. So he goes to work. I go in the bathroom to get ready for my chiropractic appointment, and then he writes a nice little love letter note on their bathroom mirror, which is super cute and so sweet. And it makes me just like, oh, you know. Then I go to the chiropractor, and I don't know, just laying there on my belly, and then there goes the tears again. I'm just feeling like hopeless. I just can't do anything right. Nothing that I do is ever good enough. But why do I feel that way? So let's talk about the hustle mentality. The hustle mentality is where people basically believe that in order to succeed, you have to hustle. You have to work 100 hours a week. You have to have 10 jobs. So because that is the standard mentality, especially in the United States, when I'm, talking to, friends or my boss or, different business owners about feeling overwhelmed, everyone's overwhelmed, right? Everyone's like, welcome to the club. They don't see that there's something wrong with having that feeling, with constantly being anxious, constantly worrying about, if you're good enough or if you're succeeding enough. It's just par for the course. It's just part of being in this realm, is to feel that you're overworked and underpaid, and never have time for your kids, and that's just what is expected of you nowadays. There's no such thing as having that balance about, being able to work and then separate yourself from work. Saying, okay, now everything's put away. Now I'm going to enjoy life. Now I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to go for walks. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to do these things. There's never enough time. You don't get to take vacations. You don't get to clock off after 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. You're working till 10 o'clock at night. You're not able to, tuck your kids into bed. You get to rack up the student loan debt because it's not good enough to just get your bachelor's anymore. Now you have to get your master's. Now you have to, have 2 degrees in 2 different fields of study. There's never, the bar is always, going up. You're never attaining that goal. Like once you meet one, the next one is right there waiting for you. It's never being satisfied, never being content with where you are. It's just constant hamster wheel where you're just kind of spinning, but you're not really gaining anything. At least gaining anything of value. Yeah, you're working. You have your master's, you have your doctorate. And my boss said this so great. He was like, he works so hard to obtain this level of success. This, worked hard to be like a VP of a company, and then the amount of stress that's associated with that. Then you're thinking, did I make the right decision? Like it's you're thinking it's going to be better when you hit it up here, and then you get there, and there's just more stress and more issues. Yes, you have more money, but then what does that give you? Okay, if you are working 100 hours a week, when are you going to take those vacations? When are you going to be able to spend time with your family with that money that you've earned? Is it worth it? That's the question that, I ask all the time. And that's why I've never wanted to obtain certain levels that people have always told me I could obtain. Because it's like it's a balancing act, right? You're going to, have to give up something to get something. And what is that you'd rather value? For me, I really enjoy having my free time. I really enjoy being able to sit and do nothing if I want to sit and do nothing. I really enjoy being outside in nature, walking barefoot, not thinking about what I have to do when I get back, being, present. And I feel like in the last few months, that hasn't been where I've been. That hasn't been the state that I've been in. You know, it's been the opposite. And it doesn't feel too good. It's funny because I've always called myself lazy, that, you know, wanting to just enjoy life and not be on that hustle and grind felt, you know, lazy to me. It felt like, yeah, you know, I'm not over there trying to catch that carrot that's being dangled in front of me. I just, it's just not something that I ever really enjoyed. I really enjoyed my peace so much more. I don't want to be that person that works hard, retires, and then once you're in retirement, you're like, okay, now I'm going to get to do everything I want to do. And then they end up passing away. It's like so sad. Like I've seen it so many times. Like people want to delay, what they want to do now because, they just want to wait until retirement. Retirement is supposed to be that golden years where you just get to do everything that you couldn't do because you were so busy. But it's really about enjoying life now, enjoying what you have now, being present now, because you don't know what's going to happen 20, 30, 40 years from now. I mean, you can't delay what you want in life because society told you that you have to be stressed out, grind, not sleep because you have to get, these orders in, or because you have to look this up, not setting boundaries, just, taking on as much as you can to get as much as you can so you can get the next thing, the bigger car, the bigger house, these things that really mean nothing in the end, but that's what we're sold, that you have to obtain these things. You have to keep up with the Joneses and the Smiths and the Johnsons because they're doing it and look how happy they are. When in reality, they're not happy. They're stressed out. They probably don't even talk to each other. They don't even know what their kids are doing. But you see them in a nice, happy photo, smiling and like, hey, I got this cute car. I got this big house. We're going on maybe these vacations, but are they happy? I learned a long time ago, never believe what you see about people, like what they show you on the outside, because it's never what's truly happening on the inside. So, trying to obtain those things that you think you need to because someone else has them, it's not healthy. It's not being true to yourself and true to you want. That whole black excellence thing where, if you're carpenter or mechanic, you're subpar, but you have to be like this VP or owner of some, company making, $1 million a year, and, so you can flex and, have everyone see how great you are. Like, why does it matter what anyone else thinks, but what you think and how you feel about your own life? Like, if you're always looking for other people's approval, you're going to not live an authentic life. You're going to always try to change who you are to please people when people are fickle and you can never please everybody. So, you just have to be the best version of yourself you can be, but don't put all your stock wanting other people to approve of you because it's not really worth it and you lose yourself in the end. So why even try? So when I was looking up videos on Portugal, I ran into this video from Stephanie Perry called Rejecting Black Excellence. And it actually made me feel so good because I realized that me being lazy wasn't really me being lazy, that there are other people out there that don't believe in the black excellence lie or the hustle and grind lie that you, in order to achieve things, that you have to burn yourself out. It was a breath of fresh air finding out that there's other odd people like me who want to live an authentic, carefree, but purposeful life, doing what they believe is their path. And that may be different from what everyone else is doing, but it's authentic. You're not going to law school because your parents said that you need to be a lawyer to make money, but you want to be an artist, but you go to law school anyway. And you can feel it here when you're not on the right path. It's just this tightness in your chest. You're like, oh, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I have no choice. And we always have a choice. We always can choose to follow our own path, follow our own bliss, or let other people control our lives and control what we do and where we go. This is actually one of the reasons why we want to move abroad, because especially on the East Coast, the hustle mentality is just so innate in everyone's DNA, not focusing on, your family, not focusing on your health, but just focusing on careers. Like your identity is tied to what you do, not being a human being. It's like when you introduce yourself to someone, you're like, hi, my name is Nikita Frazier. I'm a business intelligence analyst. Or hi, my name is, Jock, and I am a VP of engineering, like, and then as you're introducing yourself to a person, you're judging and critiquing their value based off of what they do and not who they are as a person. And that's just such a sick, twisted, unhealthy mentality to have, and when you go to other countries, like Portugal, for example, they value time, Europe, people get vacations and they use their vacations. They take the whole summers off. You try to go to a certain, place and they're closed for the summer. And that's normal to be closed for the summer because guess what? People value their time. They value their life. They value their time with their families. It's very family driven. People you see out with their kids, doing things as a family. And that's what we want. That's why we're looking to move abroad, because we're very tired of, companies not caring about giving employees days off or looking at them sideways when they take too many days off. Like, we give you 8 days, but don't take them all, or, you're going to be a slacker, like you're not doing your job. That's not healthy. How long did it take for us to get, maternity leave in our companies and paternity leave for the fathers? And, in Europe, women can take a year off after having a baby and still have their job. Can't do that in America. So many reasons why our ideology in America is just very skewed and very dysfunctional. So you may be asking yourself, since I believe all this, since I know all this, how did I get here, 4 o'clock in the morning, crying and bawling my eyes out because I'm just so overwhelmed and feel like a failure? One of those reasons is not saying no. Not saying no. I would always say that no is my second language, that it was okay to say no. It's okay to assess, is this something that I want to do, something that I can do, and then being okay saying no, setting those healthy boundaries. And I wasn't doing that. I don't know if it was just the sheer amount of energy focusing on planning the wedding and the honeymoon that I just kind of got caught up in feeling a certain way because I wasn't spending enough time doing the things that I wanted to do. So just saying yes and adding other things on. Another reason was just tackling too many things at once, feeling like if I didn't do this thing right now, then it wasn't going to ever get done. And that's not true. You know, asking for help was another issue. Like, I always feel like if I don't do it, then no one's going to help me. Not that I asked, you know. Did I ever ask for help? No, because no one would want to help me anyway, right? It's not true. But that's what I feel like sometimes is that I just have to do it because if I don't do it, no one's going to help me. And that's something that I've struggled with a lot was asking for help. I've gotten better, especially with Mark, because he's such a great guy and such a great helper. He helps a lot, but he can't read my mind. So if I want help from him, I need to ask for help. And that's just big. A lot of women like me, struggle with asking for help. And I think part of that is that hustle mentality. Like somehow you're weak, or somehow you're a failure if you are asking for help. You're supposed to be that strong person that can just handle it all, be that superwoman. And that's, again, is not a healthy mentality. We need that tribe. We need that village of people who can come in and help us when we are struggling. And, that's something that a lot of us don't have in the United States anymore. We don't have an actual village of people that we can rely on to help us, to give us that support that we need. It's all about being isolated, being on your own and doing it yourself. And that's the badge of honor that you receive is I did it myself. I did it my way. That's not what we're meant for. We're meant to be in communion. We're meant to be in a group, in a tribe. That's why we always gravitate to, Facebook groups and, memberships and committees where there's people with like minds, because that's what we strive for. That's what we want. But if we're not vulnerable and we're not honest and we're not authentic, those groups are just fake. They're just facades. They're not real. They try to be something that they're not. So, where do I go from here? I have the breakdown. I know why I was stressed out and overwhelmed. So, what do I do to fix that? So, number one would be restarting my daily rituals. For a while, before I got really deep into the wedding planning and things, I would have these daily rituals I came up with my life coach. One of them was doing a morning meditation, 7:45 every morning. I would sit before having to get up with the kids and do a meditation and just be present. The second thing I would do would be a morning exercise, and that would either be yoga or stretches or doing some stomach crunches, just anything to kind of get the blood going. Maybe taking a walk outside, just anything. And the third thing would be journaling. I have this journal that I would break up into different topics. So one would be things that I'm thankful and grateful for, things that would frustrate me, questions I'd have, maybe some cool quotes that I found, anything that I want to write down about how my day went, anything that I want to remember, I would write that down in my journal. And that also stopped when I got super overwhelmed and didn't even realize I was getting overwhelmed. But the fact that I stopped those things showed that I was overwhelmed because those were the first things that I stopped, the things that I shouldn't have stopped, that I should have kept doing and doing more often to keep me centered. So there's that. Taking back my life would be the next thing. And what does that mean? For me, it means setting clear boundaries. knowing what I can handle and knowing what I can't handle, going back to being able to say no to things. Now, what does that mean for the things that I'm doing now? It means that I need to readjust and see how much I can really commit my time to certain things. Now, it could just be that I need to set up some specific time on when to get these things done, and that should be okay. So sometimes I just think in my head too much and I don't write it down. And when things are just kind of floating in your head, they can seem way more of an issue than they actually are once you sit and write that down. And we have plenty of time. I know they say that it's only 24 hours a day, but you can get a lot done in like 10, 20 minutes a day. So, making that time and seeing where I can do things. And if I can't, going back to number one, being okay with saying, I can't do that today or I can't do that this week. And, setting those clear expectations. The next thing would be asking for that support when I need it, not being afraid to ask for help because I do have a good support system of people who are willing to help me. If I can't go to a game, being okay not going to a game. If I can't make a meeting, being okay not making a meeting. If I can't upload a YouTube video every week, being okay, then it's okay. If I can't write a blog every week or 2 weeks, it's okay. Whatever that I can get done, I will get done. And not setting unrealistic expectations for myself. Things that will stress me out because I feel like I have to get this done. And who said you have to get it done? Some, blog guru or YouTube guru that says if you don't do it, then you won't be successful. I will be successful anyway because I know how to manifest, because I'm a witch. So it'll happen my way. And the final thing for me to get back on track is being mindful, being in the present, and enjoying the journey. Because life is all about the journey. It's not getting to that carrot, because like I said, the carrot's always going to get moved. It gets here and then it moves and then it moves. So the whole part of life is just embracing what you have, being grateful for what you have, being content where you are, and making steps for where you want to be in the future. Because what you focus on is what grows. So if you focus on the negativity, all you're going to see is more negativity. If you focus on the positives, getting married to a wonderful guy. We went to Portugal for 2 weeks. My kids are enjoying sports in school. There's so many great things. I'm meeting so many good people, great people in the BNI membership. I'm going to help make some great change in the steering committee that I'm going to be a part of. Just great things are coming. Great things are here already. So, making sure to write in my journal about what I'm grateful for, what I'm enjoying in this phase of my life, and just embracing and enjoying life. That's what I can do, and that's what I will continue to do. And I thank you for listening to my little rant today on how I kind of went through the season of getting stressed out and overwhelmed, not knowing why I was stressed out, realizing that I can make change to not be as overwhelmed. You can either be the victim or you can be a victor. And being a victim means that you have no control over what happens to you. And being a victor means you get to choose how you handle the situations that came your way. So I can choose to complain about the dream job I manifested. I can choose to complain about the dream wedding that I manifested. I can choose to complain about the dream of moving to another country that we're manifesting right now. Or I can be thankful for all of these great things that came into our world and enjoy the journey that we're on as we start creating new things to manifest in our lives. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time. And enjoy your week.